First story. Girlfriend, 47F, cheated on me, 36M, after 12 years of living together, 13 years together. Okay all, bear with me. First time sharing or even going through this channel because I never thought this would happen. So long story short, my girlfriend and I have been together 13 years, living together for 12. We have never had any issues that could not be easily talked through. We have always been open and honest with each other. She's been so supportive even while I dealt with both mental and physical illnesses, which I diagnosed diabetes causing erectile dysfunction. She and I talk about marriage all the time. We are close to each other's families. She's thoughtful and remembers things and has always been absolutely amazing to me. For background, I come from a very broken family and have never had a healthy relationship up until her. When I started seeing her, I told my therapist I had never cried so much from feeling so much guilt about how sweet and conscientious he was. My therapist said it was common with people who had never experienced that kind of support and love. We have similar temperaments, very argumentative, but neither of us ever crossed the boundary of respect. Over the summer, we were both working out of the country. Prior to leaving, I noticed she was isolating herself a lot, not hanging out with friends frequently, spending a long time in bed, playing Discord on her iPad without any breaks, couldn't focus on anything, on autopilot, just like the obvious signs of depression. I brought it up and offered whatever I could to help, including helping find a therapist or psychiatrist if she felt like she needed professional help, offering whatever I could to be supportive. She said he's just been down and struggling to find motivation. PhD students, so this is pretty common. Moved on. We were away from each other for about 7 weeks. We sent videos and pictures, video chatted, texted, completely fine. Obviously was sad about the distance but really proud of the work we were each doing, and it got me through, no problems. Got home 3 weeks ago and went away to spend some time with my parents, and during those couple days, she felt a little distant. I had a super weird feeling. When I got home, she had left her phone to charge in our room, and when I went to turn off her alarm, there was a notification from a guy whose name I didn't recognize. I know about all her friends, met most of them, didn't know this guy at all. Had that weird feeling again and couldn't fight it, so I opened the Snapchat and they had been flirting and sending explicit pictures to each other. They'd been hooked up at our place since until I came back. Confronted her immediately and she admitted it, didn't try to defend it. I told her she needed to sleep in the guest bed and she said she was so sorry and knew it was wrong when she was doing it. Her mom texted me that night saying she told her what happened, offering her support, love her to the ends, she's my second mom, and that I'm family, regardless of the outcome, and she's always here. She left me a note the next day saying she couldn't help herself. Pissed me off so much. And that for a while she's known she needed to get professional help, but felt so much shame and guilt that she could never push past it. I told her she needed to leave the house until our semester began, 2 weeks from the time he left, so I could process and be comfortable in my home. I gave her a lot of demands. She needed to work on finding a therapist and see them ASAP. Needed to work on routines and healthy habits, detach from her iPad, detach from social media, do something productive, go back to hobbies, get an STI panel. No idea if there was still anything physical, and I told her I wouldn't trust her answer anyways. Do some introspection and give me a better reason than I couldn't help myself, so I could make my decision on whether to try to rebuild the trust, or to immediately call it quits. She agreed to everything and has gone home to her parents' house. She has been incredibly remorseful, has apologized for some issues I never brought up, made some points about her behavior I didn't describe, so I think she is actually doing some introspection and self-reflection. Her parents have a farm, so she's been doing a lot of outdoor work. Something I also noticed decreased when the episode of depression started. lack of physical activity. She got her panel done, negative on everything. I told her she could text me when she asked if that would be okay, and we've had some short conversations, mostly about what she's been doing. I told her I didn't want proof of anything, besides the STI results, because it's not my job to be on top of her from now on if I decide we can pursue this. But she's given me some updates on things, and some ideas about how she wants to keep up a healthy routine when she leaves her parents. She has seen a therapist who specializes in these issues twice at this point. Before she left, I cried to her about it when I confronted her and asked what I had done, and she said it was nothing I had or hadn't done, but that she had an issue, and she needs to sort it out, and promised she would fix it, and whatever I needed her to do to fix it, she would. She said we can go at my pace if I give her that chance, which she said she knew she didn't deserve. I'm having a hard time feeling about anything. I feel mostly numb, sometimes angry, but mostly numb, a little embarrassed. She told a very close friend of ours, and she's been my confidant too, and has been super supportive and non-judgmental. I've spoken to my therapist, and we have some ideas on how to go about things, and how to have good judgment on the progress being made. I feel stupid though, I feel so dumb. I haven't made my decision yet. She'll be back in a week and then we'll have a conversation. Part of my demands was that he come back with a specific, manageable, achievable plan on how to keep healthy routines up. If this is an actual issue for her that she can tackle, then that's one thing, and I want to hear a damn good reason that shows she can get to the root of the problem if she hasn't already. I'm not a big believer in sex addiction, it's not psychiatrically recognized, but I've been in a place mentally where I did hurtful things to someone else because of my own issues, and my inability to be in control of my actions. Not exactly what she has done, but similar things, so I have a hard time being overly harsh about it, but I also don't think it's a fair comparison necessarily. I've never done any of that to her. I went back to therapy so I never would, and I feel very betrayed on that front. I'm not sure exactly what I want or need here. Maybe some input on whether this could potentially be something to work through or perhaps not. Things to look out for if I want to reconcile. I'm not sure. Maybe just a little validation in my hurt and numbness. I love her more than I've ever loved anyone or anything. We've built a home together. We have a cat. I'm grateful there are no kids or marriages involved, but I just don't know why she would throw that away like that. She said she wanted to just tell me because she knew it was a problem, but she couldn't bring herself to, which just made me more upset because she knew what she was doing, and she knew I'd find out but chose to anyways. If you made it this far, good on you. Felt good to type it out a little. Second story. My now ex-girlfriend might have cheated on me with a coworker, and she doesn't seem to feel any shame. So this happened last week, but it continues up to this week. Me and her work together. I brought her into my company a week ago, and we already had something going on, so we had visitors from another country visit our US branch. They leave this upcoming Friday, and my girlfriend at the time met them and was getting along with them. Well, that week we had a good wholesome week. Friday comes, and she was invited out by them, so she went, and I didn't know about this till later because I was waiting for her to go grab a bite. She then finally tells me she's out with them. So I was like, okay, no big deal. Fast forward through the night. I saw she was still out, and now her location moved from a bar to one of the visitors' hotel. To which I started to worry a little, but I shot her a text saying, "Are you home? Or are you still out?" To which she replies, "I'm still out." So I was like, okay, this can probably be harmless. So I wait until 2 a.m. to check her location, and she's still at the hotel. My sibling was like, call them and tell them to go home. I was like, nah, that's not worth it. I don't need to argue with her, so I go to sleep. Surprisingly, Kai's sibling wakes up and divides to check my ex's location at 6 a.m. And she's still there. 9 a.m. comes around and I wake up and check once more, and her location is off. My sibling got worried maybe something happened to her, so he has me call her, to which phone rings but she doesn't answer. Then they message her and she responds with I'm okay, I'm just sleeping in. I then lose my shit and tell my sibling I'm going to give her one last benefit of the doubt and see if she's at her place. I go and her car was missing. My stomach dropped and I decided to confront her without accusing of anything. So I asked her, hey, so I saw you stayed over, and then I waited for her response. It took her 12 hours to get back to me to just say I was sick from all the drinks, so I stayed over. I'm still recovering, mind you. At this point I was upset, mentally exhausted. I didn't even want to respond to that half-ass reply that took her 12 hours. I ignore her and on Sunday she says, are we going to talk or is that it? So I tell her I need some space and I'll talk to her when I'm ready. She then says, you need space? Then come pick up your cat. So I can have my own space as well. At this point I decided to come to terms that this person doesn't respect me, and I should do my own thing, as something similar has happened 2 years ago. But the difference is we were broken up, but she was seeing me and another man. Then Wednesday comes and I've been going through it, thinking maybe I'm just overthinking it. But I was noticing them coming into work together or them leaving together and whatnot. So one day I decided to visit her to talk to her. But something told me to scan the Wi-Fi network before I knock on that door, so I did, and I saw his phone was connected and my heart dropped. Then the next day I overheard a coworker mention she was at the guy's hotel for the day and will drop by later for work. On Friday when I learned about her being at his place, I decided I need to end it because all this person is doing is walking over me. So I texted her because I just felt like there's no need for me to actually see her to tell her something she seems to not care about, and to my surprise, she didn't respond, probably because she was at his pulse. Today I left work early because I felt like shit, and on my way to the garage they jumped into the elevator, and she immediately looked away at her phone, while the other dude was being casual. So now I'm stuck in this limbo where I want to fight and speak my mind, but also I want to look unbothered because it's fucking work. What should I do? I thought about talking to my HR department and be honest about my situation and see if they can allow me to work from home for some time, as I already do for 2 days out of the 5. Any suggestions help. Also, I'm not crazy to assume this person is doing what I think she's doing, right? This totally seems like her, as she only seems to care for herself and not the relationship. But the moment she felt lonely, she was crying to me about how she couldn't lose me and how much she wanted to fix things. They literally met August 7th, and that's when me, her and my sibling that came to visit were going out and having a good time. I don't think he has issues with me. We work in different countries and rarely interact. Today in the elevator I can sense her awkwardness, but he seemed very casual, almost like he didn't know anything. Dude's a mid-30s man and she's 24, not sure if that helps with anything. I ended it via text this recent Friday because it just became clear to me she just didn't care. But my sibling is coming into town to pick up my things from their place this week. I didn't let her know what day, but they're going to show up unannounced and grab my things. She knows it's this week, just doesn't know when. I have been trying to think for a minute if there was any early signs. To be honest, if she was checked out, she did a really good job at hiding it. She even got mad at me for not including her in one of my activities that I wanted to do with my siblings. But I told her I just wanted to have one day with them for myself, since the whole week we were spending the time together. A few friends have called her a narcissist for the current situation, but they're more updated about the past and they thought the same about her then. She is very stubborn. If she gets an idea that it's over, she will never initiate anything anymore. But she had plenty of time to clear her name, as I never accused her of cheating. But to me it seems like she really didn't care about anything because she was letting me ignore her, and she started spending more time with the new guy. Upon reflecting last week, I've realized how, according to her, I'm always at fault for anything negative in our relationship. Even though I've been the one trying to better think for us and do things her way for her happiness. But you're almost spot on, unfortunately. She even suggested couples therapy when I could swear I'm the one trying to make things work in our relationship. I definitely will need to do this soon. This week I'll be in the office one more time and will be away for the rest. So when that person leaves and I come back, I'm thinking of asking HR for assistance in WFH a little longer. To be honest, I hope it hits her hard. Because I'm truthfully hurt because I've never been a POS to her to do this to me. The cherry on top was she spoke to my mother that week, and they were talking about me and her having kids, and she was loving the conversation. I like to believe I do my best at work, and I have a good relationship with the company. I do get a bit anxious to request things, but I'll have to eventually do it for my mental state. And I'll try to post an update next week if anything new goes down. I got this Thursday or Friday where my sibling will pick up my things and they're curious if they're going to avoid them or actually confront them and give the things back, Kitty included. My now ex-girlfriend stays over with another coworker and tries to hide it. After confrontation, she doesn't say anything. Then I learned through the week that he's been staying at her place and she's been at his as well. While at work I can see them being very buddy-buddy. Third story. International affair. Got married in 2022. Wife started acting weird in summer of 2023. Acting weird with her phone and would stop messaging when I would enter from another room. Confronted her about her weird behavior and told me it was nothing. Had a work trip that summer to another country. After that work trip, actions and attitude got more concerning. One night checked her phone and password was the same and assumed everything was fine because if she was hiding something the password would have been changed right. The next month still had feelings something was going on. Went on to her phone again. Located another Instagram account and all my suspicions were confirmed. Confronted her, she saw an Italian guy on the flight through the work trip. They click immediate, have a romantic conversation and the done the deed in washroom. After first met, she started a relationship on TikTok with an Italian dude. Messages her on WhatsApp and has a separate Instagram account. They meet up several times. After confronting, she said she regretted it and she is the one to blame. She claimed that he did not know she was married. I took it upon myself to let him know she was married through Instagram. Following that, he tells my wife to leave me and that he could be a better husband to her. Am I wrong for not wanting to give up on my marriage? Another question that I constantly have is, if I didn't go through her phone, would she have eventually ended with him? Or with me? As he is international, not from the best country, was he just using her to get a green card? Also, I can't help myself from watching her TikToks and reading the comments he left on the videos. Things between my wife and I have been better. She communicated what she felt she wasn't receiving in our relationship. But I am still struggling with the past and the fact that she did it. I want to move on and trust my wife again, but I am worried she is never going to give up on him. Fourth story. My wife cheated on me and then said sorry. We have been married for 12 years with 2 daughters, 11 years old and 1-year-old. All our friends call us the best couple, and even all of her female friends say that she has the best husband. We were so happy in our marriage. There was lots of love and care for each other. But last month, I got to know that she's in a relationship with a common friend of ours. Somebody known to me told me that she saw my wife going to a hotel. When she told me that she is meeting an old friend in a cafe. Initially I thought that it's fine because friends do meet in hotels. After a few days, I casually checked my wife's location history. She has been going to hotels very frequently. I started doubting her. Then I cloned her WhatsApp and found that she is madly in love with this man, a common friend of ours. There were lots of love conversations and sextings. When I confronted her, she got angry and started shouting at me saying why I am doubting her character and why I am spying on her. She didn't accept anything for 3 days and kept on arguing with me and called me mad. But when I showed her the proofs, screenshots of her chats and location history, she started crying. I also accessed the location history of her boyfriend as well. When she realized that she got caught, she simply said sorry and told me that it was a mistake and this won't happen again. I didn't want to ruin my family. I am in love with my wife and daughters. I know that my daughters need a mother, so I decided to forgive her and stay together. Plus, I didn't want any of her friends and relatives to know about all this. My wife lost her parents and siblings long ago. She doesn't have anybody else other than us. Her boyfriend is already married, so we don't have any choice other than staying together. It's been a month now, but still I am unable to forget everything and focus on my family. Whenever I try to go close to my wife, her body reminds me of everything she did to me. She wants me to forget the past and focus on our future. But I am still not sure how I am going to bear this pain and spend the lifetime with her.